Hello and welcome to Demystifying Divinity with Joanna and Jenny. How you doing today, Joanna?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you? How is everybody?
We're in it. This is happening, and we're already doing the March update, if you can believe that. But before we get into the
Mhm.
astrology and energy of Mars, Joanna has some very special announcements she would like to list with our listeners. Go ahead, Joanna.
Thank you, Jenny. Some of you viewers and listeners might know that I had a retreat in Peru last November, and it was epic. And there is another one coming up in June. If you're interested in that sort of thing, or if you're just curious as to what it is, there's a link down below. And also the 2026 recalibration is still available until the end of March. What is a recalibration? It's what I'm being asked to say. It's essentially restoration to the signature of who you truly are. If you want to know more information, what that really means, and how to go about it, feel free to do that. And it's available until the end of March. Okay, they're asking me to say why until the end of March, because the first 3 months of year is an energy of newness. We just had the New Year zodiac, Chinese zodiac, the fire horse, and because the energy is very focused on newness, it makes sense why the recalibration and what it entails would be offered within that time. So that won't be available until 2027. But I'm being asked to tell people why, because they're like, well, why is it only until March? There's a very specific reason, and it has to do with the energy. So that's all I'm going to say. And that's it for me. Yes.
Makes sense. Love it. Thanks for sharing those.
Thank you. Thank you.
Those links.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's dig into the astrology for March. First, before we go into an all signs forecast, how it works is I give you the astrology for each sign, and then Joanna does her energy update. Sometimes she uses cards, sometimes she doesn't. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. She's going to figure it out. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so this is what the astrology says about March. I'm going to go on a bit of I've written some notes, going to go on a bit of a rant, and then Joanna, you can join in anytime you like and share with all of us what you're getting for March. But just to say it quickly, February was the cosmic turning point, plot twist for humanity. Oh, now March, we're dealing with that. We're dealing with, okay, what was the plot twist then? And why is this all new? And so let's just talk about it just quick, just a little quick. We had the solar eclipse in Aquarius Leo on Feb 17, right? So Aquarius is Leo, Aquarius is humanity, Leo is the heart. It's also all things royals, royalty, kings and queens, prime ministers, and presidents. Okay, so we know what happens to the monarchy. So that's one thing that showed up during the eclipse portal, right? And we had the Fire Horse New Year, as Joanna said. That also happened on the same day as February 17th. So this is wild, untamed, quick, fast energy that the Fire Horse enters in on the same day as the eclipse. And then, of course, it's that Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0° Aries that I have been coaching about for at least 6 months on every single, whether it's Demystifying Divinity, whether it's on my Instagram. This is the world reset energy. We have not found a time in history, except for there's a few astrologers out there. I must give them some credit. There's a few that have done some serious digging, and they're proposing that the 0° mark, Saturn and Neptune coming together at the 0° mark, did in fact happen 6,000 years ago. Other than that, there hasn't been a time in history when Saturn and Neptune have come together at this creator degree. The 0° mark of Aries is the beginning of the whole darn zodiac. It is the new year, right? So that's why we always celebrate New Year, not January 1st, but at the end of March when it turns into Aries season, because that is the true new year.
By any chance, do you have any awareness when Atlantis was how many thousands of years ago?
Right. Yeah. They're saying Sumeria. This is what some of them are saying. Sumeria, which is the first
Okay.
civilization they're saying started.
Okay. I just got chills.
You just got truth bumps?
I got some chills.
You just got some chills that's when humanity started 6,000 years ago, which is
No,
when
but
Saturn and Neptune came together at 0° Aries.
No, what I got, and of course I can't prove it, I don't know, but what I got is that the last time we humans have experienced a similar energy was back then, but I actually wrote Atlantis. So I don't know how Sumer and Atlantis, how they're connected, but it was essentially a fall of civilization as we knew it.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
It's when languages, this is what they say. This is when language began, we began speaking, humanity began.
Ooh.
This is what they're saying. So I did not do that research myself.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
research that I've done over the last year is that there hasn't been a time in history when Saturn and Neptune came together at 0 degree Aries, which is something we've talked about on this podcast so many times, that this is the reset. This is what we are here for. This is why we're here. We signed up for this to create new paradigms and create new systems that work for us.
You know what I'm just getting? You know what I'm getting? And of course, I don't know. But weren't Sumerians the ones that messed with our DNA?
That they don't, I have not heard that about the Sumerians, but I've heard that. Excuse me. I've heard that about others. I've heard that about others after.
Mm-hmm.
But you're getting that, hey? So this is really cool that you're picking up some stuff as I'm talking, because this is the big thing that I saw, that I keep talking about on our podcast time and time again, preparing people for this energy, because we don't know this energy. I can safely say that humans on Earth, if you're a human and you're on Earth, you haven't had this energy before, right?
That's what I thought.
Unless you're 6,000 years old, and it's a maybe,
Yeah.
but I doubt it.
Yeah,
Unless you're 6,000 years old, this is new for all of us. And so this is why Joanna and I keep talking about this Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 Aries, because this is like, we need to be careful with our nervous system regulation. This is what we need to be working on. This is why we're always talking about this. So this is a once in a lifetime world reset energy that happened on the 20th of February. So the 17th, again, was the Fire Horse New Year and the eclipse. 3 days later is the Saturn-Neptune 0 degree Aries conjunction, right? Saturn rules reality, rules consequences. Neptune rules dreams, dissolving, spirituality. And so Aries is that 0 degree, the big bang of the zodiac. Okay. This is like, what if your very definition of the real and possible is being rewritten? That's how big that is when it comes together. Is there something you want to say before I keep going on about my things, Joanna?
No, I'm just checking about the DNA and Sumerians. I'm going to have to research, because it's fascinating, because I have no clue if it's true or not. But well,
March. So March. This is not separate from February. So like March is just okay now. Okay, so all this happened in February. So it's just like the next month, right? So it's where we begin to live the changes of February. Okay. So some things are going to be locked in and some things are going to fall away completely. And then there's going to be an Aries pile up. So a whole bunch of stuff happening in Aries starting in March, going into April.
And what does that mean? What does that mean in Aries?
So we're getting into, what does this mean? All of this Aries energy now, right? So this is key. These are the key March energies. And it has a lot to do with this Aries energy that starts in March and then goes into April. So like I said, February started this whole cosmic reset. And then March and April are, like, to quote our dear friend Lynn, wonky donkey. Okay, this is wonky donkey energy. Okay, so
let me guess, it has something to do with authority. Let me just guess.
That's one thing. That's one thing. Aries is the great entrepreneur. I'm a very strong Aries woman. I'm always talking about this. So I know for darn sure I was born for this time in history. You look at your own birth chart, everybody listening, where is Aries in your birth chart? Because that is the area of life that's going to be activated. So for you, Joanna, that's the 7th house. So we're going to go through all that. I pointed this out in my all signs forecast for everybody, because this is where you're going to want to take a good, hard, honest look. And this is where you're going to be doing the trigger work and the shadow work. And this is where things are going to be coming up for all of us. Okay. So I'm getting into that for sure. So the main things that we're going to look at just for what's happening in March is, so it's eclipse season. Again, the eclipse happened on February 17th, and there's another eclipse. This is the way eclipses work. You have one and you have another one 2 weeks later. So on March 3, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo at 12 degrees. Okay, this is all about endings and completions, Virgo themes. So body, health, daily rituals, discernment, service, what is actually working, right? Old routines might break down. Work and service and caregiving patterns might shift. Health wake-up calls or breakthroughs might happen. This particular eclipse says, if you're going to walk this new path, your body and daily life must match it. So it's no more farting around. And this is something we talk about on the podcast a lot. Like, that's what this astrology, and I knew it. I knew that this astrology was saying this. Like, we need to do the work. And that's why Joanna and I are always talking about nervous system regulation. That's why we're always talking about shadow work. That's why we're always talking about embodiment, because there's no more farting around now. And with this Aries energy, I'm going through it for all of the signs, and it's a real reality wake-up call. And how is your body reacting to it? Because Virgo rules your health. So for a lot of us, we're going to have to make some changes. This is basically what I'm seeing written all over this eclipse that happens on March the 3rd. And now the other big thing in March is this Aries pileup that I keep talking about. And this is through March and April. So what is a pileup in Aries, you ask? Well, it's the sun, it's Mercury, it's Venus, it's Chiron, it's Saturn, it's Neptune. All in Aries, okay? This is restless courage. So I might be terrified, but I have to move. Tolerance for waiting for permission. I'm no longer available for all that BS, and I'm going to move now. It's going to feel like that. There's going to be big, bold decisions and impulsive moves that were secretly brewing for years. There's going to be breakups, new businesses, creative launches, identity shifts, because Aries rules identity. Aries is here to be the leader, okay, but not the polished CEO, right? It's more the pioneer in the muddy boots. Who's going to go first and try this darn thing out? Okay. This month is about, can I let things fall apart? Which is the Virgo eclipse. Just enough that my true courage, all that Aries energy, has room to act. Okay. So it's let me reframe this in another way for you as well. Allow what leaves at the eclipse. And that's always my advice, any eclipse, all during eclipse season. We're in it as we're recording this. During eclipse season, if something comes in, welcome it. If something leaves, let it go, right?
Can I just piggyback to what you're saying? Because it's directly to what you're saying, because a message came through and it was really important for me to give this message. And I'm like, I don't understand. Now I get it because of what you said. So the message is this: confidence is not being certain of success. It is being prepared to give something your best shot. So I suspect a lot of people, or just got chills, a lot of people are going to be sitting at a threshold of wanting to start something new. If you're going to start something new, use your discernment, but give it your best shot. Don't put a lot of focus and energy on something you do not believe can be yours. Waste of energy. Shadow work, in other words, right? So I wanted to say that because it correlates directly to what you said about courage and starting new things and letting things go and, startups. So, okay, guys, remember, confidence is not something that you're certain of. It's just give it your best shot. See what happens. I'll take that.
We all need a little bit of that. So yeah, say yes to what knocks. Okay. When this Aries energy comes and builds, especially anything that makes you feel scared or more alive. That is so Aries. Just do it. Just do the damn thing and think about it later. Like, that is so Aries, right? So February cracked the sky open with eclipses and a Saturn-Neptune reset at the very first degree of Aries. We're not changing our plans. We're changing what we believe reality is.
Okay.
March is where your body, your routines, your relationships, and your courage either line up with this new reality or fall away. The Virgo eclipse on March 3 asks, what in your life is no longer sustainable, clean, or kind to your nervous system? Let it leave. The Aries pile up is the universe handing you a match. So a match for a candle. And saying, if you are this brave, what would you start? What would you walk away from? This month is about allowing doors to close and having the guts to walk through the ones that open up for you, even if they don't look perfect yet. So that's what March is. What do you think, Joanna? Are you ready?
Well, let me add a few bits that I received before you and I came on the camera. So right away, thank you. Right away, what I felt was that March is a completely different energy. And it's different because it feels so expanded. And now I understand why you keep talking about the body, because in order not to feel overwhelmed, our body has to be able to hold that frequency. Because it's all frequency, guys. It's all frequency. This higher consciousness we're talking about, it's not mental construct. It's frequency. And the higher we vibrate, of course, the higher we are. Not higher, wrong trick of words. The higher we vibrate, doesn't mean it's better, it doesn't mean it's worse, but the higher we vibrate, the closer we feel, not just know, but the closer we feel we are with Source. So it's a month of emotional abundance. And it was interesting because I had a whole bunch of money just thrown in front of me and I went, could this be mine? And then the message was, how do you feel about what's in front of you? And I realized that all this abundance made me go, because there is some belief system that how can I have all that? Ding, 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 belief system, right? So because it's such a powerful, and we've talked about this before, because it's such a powerful energy, it amplifies everything, literally. So if we're stuck in dogma and shit in terms of our awareness, it's just going to feel more amplified. That doesn't mean that we ignore, but we don't put all our focus on it. Instead, we are being guided to focus on what is good in our life. Now, I know some of you are going to say, there is nothing I have. Oh, shit, everything is shit. I would gently invite you to find one thing that you're grateful for. Maybe you have a roof over your head. Some people don't. Maybe you have a fairly healthy body. Some people don't. Maybe you have food to eat. Some people don't. So if someone there says, I cannot find anything that I am grateful for, I would say, I love you, but I don't believe you. You're just not looking at it. So it might trigger some people, but I'll take that. I'll take that. So if we want to feel emotionally abundant, we first have to create an inner environment of abundance. When we focus on stuff that is fearful, we are automatically focused on lack. That is not to say that lack does not exist for some. Yes, it does. But abundance also exists at the same time. It's how do we navigate both without being stuck to one or the other. It's a saying, how do we embody being a soul with enormous potential and human with a whole bunch of limitations? Because both are true at the same time. And that opens up the field of our heart space. And whenever the field of our heart space opens up, we are literally more in embodiment of Source. When we open our heart, more Source flows through us. Source flows through everything, everyone, at every time, in all places. It's how contracted we are that Source can flow fully or restricted. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So opening up the heart allows more Source frequency which the body needs to learn how to hold. That's why we have to take care of the body. The more we open up the heart, the more we are traversing, interesting choice of words, with the energy of unconditional love. Now, I know what you are going to say. Some of you are going to say, how did I have unconditional love? That is all, this is all that is happening. I totally hear you. It is not easy. It is not. But at the end of the day, the unconditional love that I am being asked to talk about, it's not the romantic kind of love. It's not the love you have towards your child. It's an essence of presence. It's just presence. It just is. And it has no judgment. So when we open up the heart, we are naturally beginning to loosen the judgments we hold about ourselves and we hold about the world. It doesn't mean we don't have discernment, but we come more from the space of how Source sees everything. Now, Source sees everything, even though it doesn't have eyes, through the eyes of unconditional love. Which means it doesn't matter what you've done, who you are. Yes, I know, I get it. Source looks at you as perfection. For us humans, that's extraordinarily difficult to grasp. Because we look at the world and we're going, this is opposite of perfection. Yes, from our current point of view, absolutely. 100%. From Source's point of view, it's pure perfection. It's a, excuse my friend, mind fuck. It's a mind fuck. So there is a time of, this is a time also of a lot of replenishment, and it doesn't mean that it's going to just hit you in March, but it feels like the energy of March is start of replenishment, feeling replenished. So anything that you've let go of, anything that has been quote unquote, taken away from you, and I'm not talking about horrible things, obviously, but if you've lost the job, if you've lost the relationship, if there was something that you had to let go of, and you've let it go to the best of your ability, you're entering a time of replenishment, which means whatever has been let go of will be replenished in a massively different way. Because what you've done is you've created space for it. So if you've been working on yourself, like I have, and Jenny, I've been doing this for a quarter century, I'm expecting good things to come to me. And it's like I expected. I have no doubt I expected. There's no question I expected. The how, the when, what package is going to arrive in, it's apparently none of my business. I've learned to trust it. So it's also a time of allowing ourselves to trust that which we cannot see and that which we cannot control. That is a shot to the gut for the ego. What do you mean I don't get to know, I don't get to control? When the ego controls, things can get very narrow. And we want to have expanded experiences. So it's a time of replenishment. So again, if you've lost a job, a relationship, whatever it is, I feel the same. Expect there to be a replenishment. Expect it. Don't doubt it. Expect it. And then see what happens. March is also a beginning of enormous change on a fundamental level. And when I received that message, I kind of tuned in. I said, what does that mean? And what I received was that a lot of us are going to experience a lot more peace and a lot more joy. And my ego said, how possible? And then I realized, well, my ego is not going to know how that's going to happen because the ego doesn't know what it doesn't know yet. So I want to say, expect the unexpected in a positive way. Does that mean that every single one of you are going to win $1 million? No, and you're not supposed to. It's probably not part of your path, But it doesn't mean that you can't have abundance or more of abundance. Also, this was interesting. I can't even pronounce that word. Hierarchical collapse. And we're entering a new territory in terms of reclaiming our own authority. So when authority, collapses, or when we have put people, institutions, places we have put on pedestals, these pedestals are either being taken down or they're no longer pedestals anymore. And people are becoming, and we don't have to go into the details of what we're talking about. I think most people can kind of figure that out. But the more that happens, the more we have an opportunity to reclaim our own authority. Not that we're saying, I know everything there is to know, because that's virtually impossible. Having your own authority doesn't mean that you don't listen to somebody because they might have something interesting to say, but you don't put them on a pedestal. You don't deem them to be better than you. Does that make sense what I'm saying? And if that levels off the field of authority from here to more here. And then I saw the vision of plucking the weeds. So we already know what that vision means. What does it mean to pluck the weeds? Where you are making sure that your garden is going to be as beautiful as it can be based on what you've planted and the level of cleanup you have gone through. So a lot of us are going through cleanup. Not everybody, but a lot of things in the world shit is coming to the surface because planet is healing on so many levels. And when shit comes to the surface, it is oftentimes a sign of massive healing taking place. It's like, I always give this example, the wound on your skin, sometimes you get pus and it gets ugly. It's all part of the healing. You have to let your body do its thing. Nature is very intelligent. So even though we're seeing a lot of collapses and a lot of, I want to say the word atrocity, as awful and as horrible as it is to see, it is also a sign of massive healing taking place. Yeah. So that's what I have.
Great. Yeah. Aries is the great hero. It's the hero's journey of the Zodiacs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what we're being encouraged to do, is drop guru, worshiping either the politician or the spiritual leaders. We're dropping that. And what we're doing is we're finding the guru within, the hero within. We're on the hero's journey now. And with Saturn and Neptune coming together at that 0-degree Aries mark, it's literally translated as new identity, as new paradigm, as dream reality. So there's an opportunity for all of that to completely rewrite the script. But as Joanna was saying, if for lack of better terms, if your vibes are not high enough, you're not going to be available. You won't be able to reach it. You won't be able to sense it. You won't receive the download, whatever it is that you want to translate. So that's why we have to maintain a regulated nervous system. That's why we need to work on the shadow work, because that's how we raise the vibe. That's how we get into the light, so that we can know our next level and get onto that hero's journey and make the damn decision and do the damn thing and take the leap. And it's not going to look perfect, and it might even look really messy, and that's okay. And that's so Aries, and you just do it because you're courageous and you're a leader.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to add to that is that what Jenny is saying, I'm pretty sure that's what she's saying, is that what she's not saying, just focus on hi. She's not saying that. She's saying it doesn't mean that you can't feel anger, that you can't feel injustice, that you can't, have a fearful moment. It doesn't mean that at all. You don't deny it, but you don't let it consume you. That's the difference. So a regulated system, nervous system, does not mean a person never feels fearful. It doesn't mean that the person never feels jarred. It just means the person is able to move through these emotions without fracturing and come back to the center again. That's what a regulated system, nervous system is. A regulated system.
You're part of the Great Awakening, and you can understand the truth of our world without it completely frying you, without it taking away any of your joy, because it gives you an empowered sense that now I know the truth, and now I'm rewriting my own script. It's the way we can reclaim it in this very intense time in history. We're born for this. We're here for this. Okay. Are we ready for the all 12 signs for...
Let's do it.
Yeah, so I'm going to remind everyone, listen for your rising sign first, because the rising sign will tell you the area of life that you are being impacted. Listen for your sun sign as well. That's your soul. That's your career. That's your purpose energy. Listen for your moon as well, because your moon is your inner world, your emotions, your family life. So listen for all three. Rising sign first, because it's just going to give you that ding. Oh, this happened. Oh, yes, this happened in that area of my life.
And North Node, right? North
Your
Node.
North Node, Joanna always says,
Yeah.
I love that. You can listen to all 12 signs out, because all 12 signs are represented in our birth charts. So, and for all intents and purposes, you might have a stellium, meaning a whole pile up of planets in one sign. And unless you've had an astrology reading, you don't even know. So your sun might be somewhere else and you don't even know this, but you feel like, say, a Libra. It's because you have like 4 planets in Libra. So yeah, you can listen to all 12 signs. Okay, we're going to talk about how the eclipses might feel and show up in your life. And we're going to talk about how to use this Aries pile up that I keep talking about. Okay. And how to do the damn thing energy, because that's what this is all about. Okay. So I'll start with the astrology for each sign, and then Joanna is going to do her reading after. Okay, Aries, we're starting with you. Well, Aries. It feels like a crash between I must be useful and flawless versus I just want to be myself. So it might show up in work routines collapsing or changing dramatically for you, Aries. Okay. Health or burnout signals might force you to stop self-abandoning once and for all. The old I must overfunction for everyone patterns might be leaving once and for all. Let's talk about what's leaving and what's arriving for you, Aries. Leaving, martyrdom in service, perfectionism at work, the need to justify your existence by producing. Arriving, more soul-aligned daily practices, healing around being enough without over-delivering. And now that Aries pile up. Okay, Aries, you got this. Let's use that fire. This is your season and it is on steroid. Use it to launch that project, business, creative identity that actually feels like you once and for all. Make the brave identity call. So leaving roles, changing the titles, showing your real face. And your mantra for this month, I'm allowed to be the first one to go. What are you picking up for the Aries, Joanna?
Okay, so a few things. For some of you, you might experience an unusual calm, almost like, where is this coming from? Which is actually opposite of what you said. So that would be interesting to see. Maybe it's going to be a bit of both. You are also, if you're Aries, entering a new threshold. I believe we all are, but for some of you, but for you, Aries, I'm being guided to say this. And because you're entering this new threshold, there may be a period of time where you go like, I don't know what the hell is going on. You might feel a little bit lost. You might feel confused. You might momentarily not feel very clear or focused. And they're showing me an image. It's like cleaning a window with a dirty cloth. You can clean it all you want, but it's not going to be clear. So if you find yourself in that position, and it's going to last 3 to 4 weeks, and this is between now and we're recording it, which is February 19th, to about middle of April. So it's a little bit of a longer range. If you experience, and it's going to come with a little bit of insecurity, if you experience that, just know that this is all part of your path clearing. And because energy works underneath your conscious awareness, a lot of the work that you have been going through has been shifting on an energetic level, and the mind needs time to catch up in order to understand what that was about. So a lot of the times we'll go through, like when I do a recalibration, a person will go through a recalibration. There's a period of time where they're feeling off because it's happening on an energetic level, and the mind needs time to catch up in order to understand what is going on. So for a period of time, it starts to feel a little bit confused. Nothing is wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not lost. You're not on the wrong path. You're just in the threshold where this this confusion also is asking you to pause. It's asking you to pause and ask this question. Is what I really want, is it true for me? Is it still true for me? Maybe it's something you've wanted, but you haven't checked with yourself to ask the question, is it still true for me? Because many things were true for us a few years ago. And now if I ask myself, is it true for me now? Is that hell no? Right? So there may be, it's asking you to slow down and focus on your intentions and ask yourself, is this intention truly what's aligned with me? So alignment, very important. The message also is, please connect with yourself. For some of you, again, which means most people are disconnected on some level, but connection with your true self is very, very important, because it is your true self that literally holds your blueprint. So when you connect with yourself, you have easier access to your higher wisdom, your soul's higher wisdom. And who doesn't want that, right? The ego is very nearsighted. Also, for some of you, this is an invitation to do some clearing, healing work in your sacral chakra. Now, few days ago, I was doing a recalibration with a group of mine, and when the field was working with the group, it was very evident to me that the focus of the energy healing was around sacral chakra. Okay. Now we're seeing a lot of sexual distortion coming up. We're seeing all of that. That's all sacral chakra stuff. So if you have some unhealed wounds pertaining to your sacral chakra, which is about creativity, if you hold yourself back, it's also about relationship. It's also your sexual energy. It's your life force. If you are, God forbid, sexually abused, or you don't even have to be sexually abused, but anything around sacral chakra, this would be a really good time for you to heal. And even if you don't consciously want to heal, I feel like it's going to come up to the surface. Okay, because it's meant to be integrated so that you can move beyond however you've been holding yourself back. So sacral chakra is very much signified here. A little bit of solar plexus, but sacral chakra a lot. And we're seeing this globally, like with the sexual, this distortion, right? So yeah, that's what I have for you. Hope that makes sense. There were cards, but I thought, okay, so the first one is connection. So this is what I gathered from the message. And the second one was clarity, but the way it landed to me right away told me that there may be some fuzziness that you might be experiencing.
Well, Neptune is very confusing, right? So for
okay.
Yeah, for an Aries, it doesn't have any Pisces in their chart. Yeah, you might not know how to navigate this. I've got my Mercury in Pisces, so yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Taurus. Okay, it might feel like your heart and your pleasures are under X-ray. So it might show up in big shifts in your romance, in your dating, in your creative expression. And you might be realizing old sources of joy might feel flat. So you were kind of saying that for the Aries. So children, pregnancy, creative, and babies might be reaching a turning point in your life. What's leaving and what's arriving? So what's leaving? Safe but stale love stories. Creative blocks held in place by fear or failure. What's arriving? More honest joy, risky romance, deeper creativity that isn't curated for others. So what's this Aries pile up going to do for you? This energy builds in your unconscious and your spiritual zones, okay? So the old anger, resentment, hidden fears are going to be lit up. You might feel unusually fired up, then inexplicably exhausted. Why am I so exhausted? I'm happy. I'm exhausted.
That's already happening.
So use it to bravely face what you usually stuff down. Start a private fiery practice. So breath work, movement, shadow work, dream work. Your mantra for this month, Taurus: I am brave enough to see what I've hidden from myself.
Oh, okay. That's very apropos. And I think I've got this message for Taurus before, but the first thing that came through was pace yourself. And it's also a time of finalizing. tying things up, making sure things are not left unsaid or undone. Okay? The card is interesting because I've never seen it before, and I've worked with this deck quite a few times. So I'm going to just show it to you. So the word is preservation, but right away what struck me the most was that the head here, your mind is being transformed. So you might have moments when you are asking yourself, am I going crazy? If you have those moments, it's a really good sign, actually. It's a sign that something in your mind is shifting beyond what your mind can grasp as normal. Okay? But as a result of this mental transformation, something new is being born. Something new is being born. And for some of you, it's already in gestation period. So this could be some sort of a plan you've had for yourself or some sort of desire you've had for yourself. It's still in a gestation period. It can be birthed until the mind thing takes place, the shift of the mind, the shift of perspective. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yeah. Now it's interesting because I'm a Taurus and I've had the last few weeks, they've been kind of wonky and all over the place. And sometimes I still ask myself, am I going crazy? And then there are moments where I have such massive perspective that I go, how am I going to relate to other people? So it goes somewhere like this. So I'm assuming at some point it's going to come to some sort of balance. And I'll share this with you guys, and I've shared it before. When you first begin to have experiences of connection with Source, and I don't mean just thinking about it, when you have your first experience with Source that is in the body, it is very overwhelming and sometimes and often very frightening. Because when you have that experience, it's not a cognition. When you have a body experience of connection with Source, your ego literally freaks out because in that moment, you realize that everything you have known goes down the shits. I've talked about this before. I've had that experience. So I'm supposed to say this because I feel, thank you, more and more people are going to have these unexplainable experiences. And some people who are not believers in certain things may judge you as going nuts. So maybe don't share those experiences with everybody. Maybe share it with some people you trust. But what I'm getting is there's going to be more and more and more people having these extraordinary experiences. And at first they're going to think they're going mad. That is absolutely this. Yeah, because it completely transforms.
Oh, which is the subconscious, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's that subconscious activation I was talking about.
Okay.
The shadow work is going to be needed. That's why you've got to be honest with what's coming up.
That's good to know. Full on chills, by the way. Okay, thank you for that feedback.
Gemini. Okay, what it might feel like. Home versus world. Inner foundations versus outer persona. So it might show up in moves, renovations, a major shift in your home, family. It might feel like emotional eruptions about the past. It might feel like boundaries with family or your chosen family. What's leaving, what's arriving? So leaving, pretending you're fine while carrying ancestral weight. What's arriving? A more emotionally honest home base, healing your relationship to safety and belonging. And how is this Aries pile up going to impact you? So Aries is going to lighten up your community and your future, new friends, new networks, new collaborations. So the future and your dreams are going to come alive. Use this to initiate group projects, join or lead communities. Take the leap on a future vision, not just talk about it. So your mantra for March, Gemini, I lead by going where my future self lives. What do you think, Joanna?
Okay. If you're Gemini, your first message is give yourself a dose of flexibility. Do I need to explain what that is? No. Do I? Okay. Oh, well, let me just ask. When we are rigid, we create a lot of resistance. When we're flexible, the resistance is less. I'm being guided to ask a specific example that I just went through the other day. So my phone broke, and oh my God, you know what happens with my entire business is on my phone. And I had to be without a phone for a good part of the day. And in the past, it would have freaked me out. Literally freaked me out. We are addicted to our phones. But something different happened. Although I was perturbed and I wasn't happy that I was in the car and I didn't have access to any call, I kind of thought, fuck it, let's just be what it is. So I, instead of being so rigid, I just accepted. And I basically said, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I have no control over it. I released the tension. And then the day went by, and pretty soon, before you know it, I had my phone. So that's an example of flexibility, if that makes sense. Yes? Okay. The second message is respect yourself. So I said, okay, tell me, what do you mean by respecting ourselves? And the field says, well, when you respect somebody, like, what do you feel toward them? And the first thing I thought was, well, I value them. Bingo. Value yourself. Don't shortchange yourself. Don't minimize yourself. Don't poo-poo yourself an idea and your ideas. In other words, value yourself. I think it's a pretty straightforward message, but not necessarily something easy to do, especially for people who have learned to self-abandon or betray themselves. Right? So the big message is respect and value yourself. Some of you will experience a lot of heart healing energy. And it struck me specifically when you were talking about groups, because you said something about groups, I think. You said something about communities or groups. And what I felt that for some of you, this healing is going to be very much as a result of you being engaged or involved with some like-minded groups. And I mean, it's well known that, in groups, there's a lot of healing that can happen because there's collective energy. There's a lot more support. So whoever you are, if this makes sense to you, let us know, because I never know how it's going to transpire. But there is a lot of emotional healing, and again, tied to your sacral chakra, but there's a lot of heart healing. The card that came through is called productivity. So I'm just going, and what I'm seeing is, okay, thank you. The message is, don't be a workhorse. Don't know what that means to you guys, but don't be a workhorse. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a workhorse, but what's a workhorse? A workhorse is a workhorse. It works all the time. So maybe this is a message for some of you that says, listen, if you're working all the time, first of all, does it please you? Well, I have no choice. Okay, can you find 10 minutes to do something that's joyful? But also, if you're working all the time and if you're constantly busy, maybe this is a way for you to escape from yourself. And being a workhorse, I would assume, would produce a lot of anxiety, right? Do we want to willingly live in a lot of anxiety? I've never met a person who says, I want to, right? So there's a message tied to some of you out there using work as an excuse or using busyness as an excuse, and maybe it's unconscious, to not connect with yourself. And connecting with yourself has always been important, but it is so much more important now. Why? Because it is inside you where truth lives. Truth lives in the body. It doesn't live just in the mind. How do you know when something is true? You can feel it, right? So connection with yourself and not avoiding and looking at how you potentially avoid connecting with yourself. So that's the first one. The second message is called the dependability, but there was a very specific message I received from that. I'm just going to show you the picture. Some of you out there are afraid to ask for help because you have a fear around being dependent on someone. That's going to be for some of you. if you have been dependent on someone before and they have hurt you, then you have learned that if I depend on somebody, ultimately I'm going to get hurt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself extraordinarily independent. I don't need anybody. That's not true. We all need somebody. So if you, and they're saying also, it's also sacral chakra stuff because it's relationships. So if some of you are out there fearing being dependent or asking for help because you feel that there's always an agenda, that means that there is something that's still living inside of you that is from long, long time ago, but you're still living with this energy. And it's a protective energy trying to protect you, but it also robs you of beautiful experiences. So that's what I have for you, Geminis.
Cancer. Okay. The eclipses, okay? First, they might feel like your mind and your voice are shedding skins. So it may show up in conversations that end old dynamic, important contracts, teaching or learning shifts, and realizing your nervous system can't quite handle certain information streams anymore. So what's leaving and what's arriving at the time of the eclipse for you? So what's leaving? Over-explaining, tolerating misaligned communication, doom scrolling. What's arrived at the time of the eclipse? Cleaner mental diet, braver and clearer communication, new learning paths. And now let's talk about that Aries pile up. Okay, how's this going to affect you? So Aries is blazing through your career and your public role. This is big pushes for you in work, visibility, leadership. An inner I'm done hiding moment is for you professionally. So use this to start or claim a leadership path in your career. Say yes to public roles, launches, promotions, or walk away from what's dead in your career. A mantra for you in March, Cancer: my ambition is sacred, not shameful. What did you get for Cancers?
Well, I laughed when you said something because one of the first thing I wrote is that if you're Cancer, you're likely going to be cracked open. So what happens when you crack something open? Things come out. Things that may have been hidden from the surface, or beautiful things that you have been holding or hiding. It's also a time of renewal, which for some of you, I'll explain what I mean by that. A time of renewal simply means that something new, something fresh is starting to get a hold. It's not fully formed yet, but you can feel it. It is a time of change, and it could be in any situation of your life, or you just noticing there is some internal change happening, and you may not be able to grasp exactly what that is. Again, it's that space in between, liminal space where we don't know. But you are very much in, and also spring is renewal, but you are very much in space of renewal, and you might experience a little bit of resistance. Why? Because renewal also signifies something has to be let go of in order for something to come in. And the ego fears the unknown. So when you don't know what that is, but you are in a process of letting something go, it is almost normal and natural and important that your ego starts to feel a little bit resistance because it doesn't know the future yet, right? So a little bit of fear may come up of the unknown. But I want to say this: don't make lack of fear as your goal. Don't ever think that one day you're going to wake up and you're going to have no fear. No, you don't want that. Acknowledge that there is some fear of the unknown, but also the magic word is trust. You wouldn't be here not talking with Jenny and I, listening to us, if you were not consciously on some level of spiritual expansion. You wouldn't be here because this energy would drive you. You wouldn't resonate with it. So you're hearing words, but you're resonating with the energy. So if you're Cancer, there is something new. Thank you. And I also saw you stepping up. So this might be stepping up in a position that I got chills on that. This might be stepping up in your financial house. Again, the message I gave to the other side, expect the best. Don't be blindly trusting, use your discernment, but expect the best. And the card is actually, it's one of renewal. It's very beautiful. Again, I'm seeing a lot of orange. That's what draws my attention, which is again the sacral chakra, but that's collective. So that makes sense to me. Any fears around not having enough money, any fears or insecurities around lack, that is very much tied to the first and sacral chakra, because sacral chakra is your creativity. So, but because you are being cracked open, some things may come up to the surface that will make you go like, oh my God, I didn't know, I didn't realize I thought like this, because it was so unconscious. So the higher we vibrate in frequency, the more conscious we become. The more conscious we become, the less unconsciously driven we are. So we're all moving in that direction, just different people are on different, in different areas. But if you're listening to this, then likely this is going to, thank you, this is going to resonate with you, especially for those who are looking for promotions or step-ups in your jobs. When you hear this, you're going to get excited, okay? So I hope that for you, because who doesn't like that? So that's what I have for Cancer.
Leo, let's talk about the eclipse energies first. The eclipse energy for you in March might feel like a reality check around money, self-worth, and where you overgive. So it might show up in financial changes, so income sources ending or starting. It might show up as realizing you can't keep undercharging or overextending. And perhaps body and pleasure issues are tied to self-worth. That might start surfacing for you. So let's talk about what's leaving and what's arriving at the time of this eclipse. Leaving, scarcity mindsets, taking crumbs in money or in love. And what's arriving, new ways of earning, valuing yourself, and embodying your worth practically. Now let's talk about this Aries pileup for you. How's that going to show up for you, Leo? So Aries ignites your 9th house of belief, travel, and expansion. So you'll feel the desire to travel, study, or expand your worldview, perhaps. Spiritual or philosophical fire might be lit. My life needs to be bigger, you might feel. So use this to enroll or to book or to start the big adventure. Share your truth, write, teach, broadcast, preach. Your mantra for March, Leo, is, I am brave enough to live a bigger story.
Okay.
For Leo, Joanna.
If you're a Leo, this is a very specific message. I'm going to see if this wants to be expanded. But the first message is, let go of trying to find love. Instead, let it find you by allowing it in. How? First, by respecting yourself more, number one. Number two, believing that you are worthy. So and full chills on that. So for some of you, thank you. Okay, this was to bring the subject of unworthiness. I think that's a human condition. Some have it more than others. I had a lot of unworthiness, like a whole pile for 10 different lifetimes, at least. And that belief keeps us in a space of lack. When we believe we are not worthy, we're going to hold ourselves back pretty much from everything. Okay? So if you are one looking for love, but you can't find it, maybe it's because you're not allowing it in unconsciously. And maybe it's because the reason why you don't allow it in is because at the very depths of you lies the lie that you are not worthy. When you first begin to feel worthiness, it's shock to the system. When you're used to vibrating under the premise that you are not worthy, and I know we tell ourselves, well, we've read the books, we took the courses on worthiness, but then you get shit and it's like, oh, and you still feel unworthy, that's because energetically speaking, you're still vibrating in that energy. So when you begin to start to feel worthy, your ego doesn't know what to do with itself because you have identified with your unworthiness. Now I'm going to say something I've said before, and I say it because it's always very funny. Have you ever asked Source, hey, prove yourself, prove your worth to me? That doesn't happen. Yes, we feel that we are unworthy, but Source and us, there is no separation. Do you see the paradox of that? So for those of you who are looking for love, who are looking for more beautiful relationship, whatever it is, abundance, whatever, perhaps part of your key work this time is to realize, A, you're worthy of whatever it is that you are desiring. 2, respect yourself. And 3, maybe there is this lie that you still hold as your truth, that you're not worthy. And once you heal that, and I'm using the word heal, not the right word, but once you integrate that lie, once it no longer runs your life, your entire existence changes. You stop seeking and you become an opening like a magnet. So if you are looking for love and you can't find it, maybe because you're actually not allowing it in. And here's the message. The card is called efficiency. Focus on what is important to you. Focus on what is important to you. Example, if you focus on the fact that you are not good enough, I'm just going to use that stupid example. Is that important to you? Like, is it important for you to feel that way? Likely the answer is no. Well, then don't focus on that. And the knowledge is there, but then focus on something much more positive. And what happens is that you shift your awareness from a lower vibrating frequency to one that's higher vibrating. And of course, anything you focus on, this is where you pour your life force into. That's where life force goes. That's where energy goes, quote unquote, law of attraction, right? So use your energy efficiently by focusing on what is important to you. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Good one. Virgo, the eclipses are in your sign. So it might feel like you're standing in front of a mirror that shows you who you've become and what no longer fit. So it might show up in identity crisis or an identity breakthrough. Might show up in a major relationship pivot. So others are mirroring back your growth. And there might be some body shifts. So image changes and new self-perception for you. What's leaving and what's arriving at the time of this eclipse? So leaving, old self-definitions built on being the fixer or the responsible one. What's arriving? A more authentic self who prioritizes soul over obligation. So that sounds pretty good, Virgo. Let's talk about this Aries pile-up for you, Virgo. Aries sets your intimacy and shared resources zone on fire. This is about money entanglements, debts, inheritances, or collaborations. This is about deep emotional and deep sexual intimacy activations. So use this to renegotiate financial or emotional contracts. Face your fear of deep merging and ask for what you really need. The mantra for you this month, Virgo, I am brave enough to go all the way in or walk away. Would it do that for Virgo?
Interesting. Okay, here it is. Okay. Message first, for message number 1, set yourself free. And of course, we get what that means. But I said, why? And what came through was, because prisons are lonely and tight. I love how the messages are coming through. They're just like, boink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to explain it. So, because they're meant to just kind of land and give you something to think about. The other message feels much more precise, so it may not be for everyone. The word is patience, but it's very specific in nature in terms of where the patience goes. The message is let them show you rather than projecting. Let someone show you who they are, not who you want them to be. The answer is right in your face. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to interpret, but what do you get from that? I know it's a very point. It's a big message.
Yeah, the eclipses are in Virgo, right? So you're reading for Virgo, and it's jarring, and you're gonna know what you get away from. You're gonna know what you do.
Chills. Okay. Yeah. And we often do this as humans. We want people to be a certain way, right? But let the person show you who they are and then make your choice and your decision. Don't pretend not to see what's right in front of you because somehow you think that's inconvenient or maybe it's going to change. I'll tell you one thing, and Jenny will tell you this, and I'll share this as from a personal experience, but also working with literally thousands of people. Yes, people can change, but people have to change for themselves. Because if they don't change for themselves, number one, it's often not permanent, but it also can become resentful. Because if you are wanting someone to change, then you're saying, I don't accept you as you are, which is totally fine. But to be with somebody you don't accept, well, then just move on. You see what I mean? So this feels relationship-like in any kind of relationship, whether it be romantic, whether it be work. There's for some of you, there's the answer is staring you right in the face. You're just asking the wrong question. Tell me who you are. No, let them show you. Yeah.
The courage from Aries, you'll have the courage to do it.
Yeah. And it's both a little bit terrifying because the moment you realize, oh my God, this is not the person I want them to be. It's terrifying, but it's also liberating at the same time. It's terrifying because your dreams just went sideways. But it's liberating because now you know. Now you know. Now you can make an empowered choice or decision. So that's the message for you, Virgo.
Libra. There you go. Libra. So this is astrological. You're Libra rising and I'm Libra moon. So the eclipses, how are the eclipses going to hit for Libras? Might feel like the subconscious storeroom gets flooded with light. So it might show up in old grief, old shame, and old patterns might be resurfacing. Intense dreams, psychic sensitivity, need for solitude. Might feel like burnout from overgiving, and it's going to become undeniable. What's leaving and what's arriving for Libra at the eclipses? Leaving, self-sacrifice that no one asked you to perform.
You're so funny. You're so funny.
What's arriving? Deeper spiritual hygiene, boundaries, rest as a sacred practice. Let's talk about this Aries pile up for Libras. Aries ignites your partnership house. Relationships are going to become hot zones. So there's going to be passion. There's going to be conflict. There's going to be truth telling. New partnerships or bold steps in your existing ones. Use this to declare what you truly want in your relationships. Start or exit partnerships with honesty and courage. And your mantra, Libra, for March, I am brave enough to be met as I really am.
Oh my God, I can't believe you're saying this.
I said it. I said it because you're going to say that too, or what?
I already have it written down, yes.
Yeah. This happens to us sometimes, doesn't it?
It's a huge validation for me because I don't, what something comes through, I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, continue. But that's it. Oh yeah. So, Libra. Again, these are questions, but they're just landing. Who are you without your costume? Who are you without your mask? Who are you without the trying and the pretending and the constant proving of your value? Oh God, I've got chills everywhere. The word is authenticity. Part of you is coming out, and it's a part of you that has been in hiding for a very long time. So I asked, the word courage comes in, so there's courage required. And I asked the question, why was it hiding? Because Joanna wants to know. It's been hiding because you are afraid to be fully yourself. Now, I will say this from experience, and I have a long way to go. I'm a very imperfect human being like everybody else, perfectly imperfect. When you start coming home to yourself, at first it's very frightening because you're not used to showing up fully. You're used to performing, pretending, proving, having all these masks, see me this way, love me this way, don't reject me. And then when those masks drop, where your identity drops, when you start coming home to yourself, it's liberating, but at first it almost feels debilitating. Why? Because it is such a huge energy surge. It's an energy surge. So think of yourself as being in a box, as long as you know. All of a sudden, the boxes are gone. And what happens? You come out. That's you and your light coming out. For many of you, myself included and Jenny included, being fully, truly, authentically ourselves in the capacity of a healer, whatever you want to call it, it was frowned upon. So we've learned to put ourselves in little boxes and stuff ourselves when nobody can see. If you're listening to this and you're getting chills all over your body, it's resonating with the truth that in this life, you are here to reclaim yourself and show up fully. Doesn't mean you get to air your dirty laundry to everybody. No, that's not what it means. But you show up as you are, without the pretending, without the trying, without the proving. That is hard. It's the hardest thing any human will ever do. It is the simplest in theory to be yourself, yet it is the hardest. So, apparently that's also for me. Okay, oh boy, here we go again. Great. Super.
And I will say, like, when I say relationships,
Yeah.
I'm just talking about romantic partners.
No, yeah.
People, like your best friends and stuff too.
And with yourself too. And with yourself, your relationship with yourself. Yeah, because the moment you begin to truly show up as you, your relationship with you shifts fundamentally. You're more fully in your power. And we've talked about this. Most humans, I would say, well, I don't have the data. Most humans, in my understanding, are unconsciously terrified of their power. Terrified. Because from a perspective of our ego, the ego that is rooted in lack and scarcity cannot handle that much power. Ego that's rooted in distortion does shitty things with that much power. We know about this. So to embody your own fullness is both liberating but frightening at the very beginning, because we're not used to just showing up fully. Think of it this way.
Also because you're going to lose people. Like you.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So you start showing
100%.
up authentically. Well, I know so-and-so friend ain't going to like this version of me.
Yeah.
And so,
that's right.
Maybe husband's not going to like this version of me.
Yeah.
So we stay small.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So we stay small and we don't shine that light as brightly as we know we can. So I think that's what the Libras are facing, is this. Yeah. Look at who you are surrounded with. We've said this before on the podcast. You're only as good as the top 5 people you hang around with all the time. Right? Those are the people, your husband, your best friends, whatever. And so you might be giving that a real cold, hard, honest look. And you've got the bravery from Aries to do the damn thing and make the damn decision.
Yeah. So I'll give you the visual. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but here's a visual of a woman, and there is an inner child poking through. Just seeing, almost like it's asking, is it safe for me to come out? Is it safe for me to come out? And this woman is she's just open. She's not doing this. She's not trying to protect. She's just open. So, and the word is potential. Every single human here is to live, but hopefully to their potential. And the only reason why we don't is because we hold ourselves back, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just part of human experience, but that's what it is. So there you go, Libras, and I guess myself too.
Scorpio, let's talk about the eclipse energy first. Okay. So it might feel like the web of friendships and community is being rewoven. So it might show up in friendships ending or deepening dramatically. Group projects dissolving or beginning. Changes in your role within the collective. So what's leaving, what's arriving at the time of this eclipse for you? Leaving? Groups where you dim your intensity or power to fit in. Arriving? Communities aligned with your deeper values and your magic. Let's talk about how this Aries pile up is going to impact you, Scorpio. So Aries heats up your work and your health ritual. This is big energy toward fixing, improving, reorganizing your life. This is a desire to move your body, refine your craft, and start new habits. Use this to initiate new daily routines or healing protocols. Take leadership at work. Suggest systems, start projects, claim your lane. And the mantra for you in March, Scorpio, I am brave enough to design a life that works for me. What did you get for Scorpio?
You know, I'm just still writing it down. Just give me a second. Okay. I'm going to show you the visual first. So the word is perception. Okay. So I'll tell you what I received from this. First thing, a few things stood out to me right away. A lot of clearing in throat and heart chakra, upper chest. So you actually might be having a cold and you might be just clearing stuff. Like even with phlegm and stuff, but this is what I'm talking more about, is more energetic. For some of you, I feel like my throat is really tight. So you actually might feel tightness in the throat, and for others, I'm just perceiving an energetic tightness. Whenever we experience tightness in an energetic field, then we are holding that energetic field in a space of constriction. So because it's throat for you and also part of your heart, it means that there is likely some energetic clog that's there, which in different terms means unfinished business or something that's unhealed. So if you're Scorpio, you likely hold yourself back in terms of what you allow and also what you express and how you express it. Okay. The other thing that came through was the idea of you not feeling enough. Again, most humans have that to some degree, just to what degree. But for you, it was specifically not good enough. So if you believe that somehow you're not good enough or you don't feel good enough, ask yourself the question, why don't I feel good enough? Like, who gave me that idea? Because when you tune into that, it'll likely take you to a place or space long time ago when you first have experienced feelings of not being good enough. Because as a baby, you're not born not good enough. It's something that transpires as a result of your human experience. So if you're a Scorpion holding to the idea that you are not good enough, there is something in your history that still needs to be healed. Now, what I want to say is this. You don't have to go back to history. You don't have to go endless talking about your history. You don't have to relive your history, but you do have to be present with the frequency of not feeling good enough so that it can move through you and it can transmute. So the work that I do, I don't ask people to go through their trauma. It's completely unnecessary, but they do have to be present with the emotion. An emotion takes peak 90 seconds and then it generally goes down for the most part. So if you can allow yourself to feel that feeling of not good enough, and just really feeling in your body, and just stay with it, be present with it. Don't judge it. Don't try to understand where it's coming from. Just be present with that feeling. What you'll notice, it was going to start to soften. And as it softens, you begin to open up. Okay. What I also got was third eye activation. So for some of you, third eye is going to feel activated or strengthening in how you perceive psychically. I feel more, listen, everyone is psychic. Okay. Not everybody believes it. Not everybody trusts what they're psychically perceive. But we're like energetic antennas walking around picking stuff all the time, psychically, right? So, but for those of you who resonate more with this, it's going to feel like it's amplified. And again, it goes together with the overall theme of collective. It's like we are all expanding in consciousness. The more we expand, the more we're able to see, the more we're able to perceive. So that kind of goes hand in hand with this. But most importantly for you is, how do you perceive yourself? And is it working for you? How do you perceive yourself? Is it working for you? If it's not working for you, maybe find a way to perceive yourself in a different way. And this is going to sound really weird, but it's literally a choice. You make a choice to perceive yourself a different way. I know it's not that simple, but it's simple, but it's not easy. So that's what I have for you, Scorpios.
Sagittarius, let's talk about how this eclipse is going to hit for you first. It might feel like your public path, your career, and your reputation are under an eclipsed spotlight. So it might show up in career endings, redirection, promotions, pivot. It might shift in how authority sees you or how you view authority. Might become visible in a new way. What's leaving, what's arriving. What's leaving might be professional roles that mute your truth. What's arriving, a more aligned public expression of your calling. And let's talk about the Aries pile up. Okay, so how's this impacting you? Aries fires up your creativity, romance, and play. So your passion, your libido, your creative fire might get reborn. So new love stories or old love stories might get reignited. Use this energy to start a passion project and be unapologetically romantic, playful, dramatic, even if it scares you. So your mantra for March, Sagittarius, is I am brave enough to be fully alive. What did you get for Saggy, Joanna?
This is kind of remarkable because the exact same two cards just popped up and I did quite a bit of shuffling. So we have the idea of perception. I'll tell you what I received from that. And then we have renewal. Okay. So before these cards came, before I played with the cards, what I received was that if you're Sagittarius, and I know I have a house in Sagittarius, it's you're literally at a threshold. You're not crossing the threshold yet. You're just before crossing the threshold. Threshold basically represents the old and the new. So if you're Sagittarius and somehow October is going to make sense to you with respect to what I'm talking about right now, doesn't mean you have to wait until October, but if you listen to this again in October 2026, you're going to go, oh, that's what she was talking about. Okay. So you're in that space where there is still quite a bit of emotional cleanup going on. So you might experience some emotional turmoil, some emotional ups and downs. We're seeing this all over the place, all over the world. It's just the energy that we are in. Everything is just being amplified. However, what's happening is your nervous system is clearing as a way to prepare for a path that is opening in front of you. Okay, so there's a path that's opening, and for some of you, it's a new path. For some of you, it's not that it's new path, but your expression is different. So you might be someone who's working with money. It doesn't mean that you're going to stop working with money, but somehow it's going to change. You're going to want to work with money, but somehow in a different way. The idea of healer, if you're used to working as a Reiki energy healer, as an example, you might notice that outfit doesn't fit you anymore. And you let go of that and you become aware of something else coming online. Something that's actually less structured. So that's interesting. So as the path is opening up, it feels like it's also less structured. So whenever there's anything that's coming through that's less structured, when we're moving from structure to something that's less structured, at first the ego goes, because the ego wants to grab onto anything, right? Again, the big ingredient in this opening of this path is the good, darn old word called trust. I know trust is like, oh my God, Joanna, stop talking about this trust. It's annoying. I know. I get it. But I'll tell you this. If I didn't have some level of trust, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Even though I have doubt, I need to trust it. If I don't trust it, I can't do this. I can't do my sessions. I can't do it. I can't do any of it. So trust is very important. Doesn't mean trust blindly. Doesn't mean don't use your discernment. But trust is the main ingredient. So whatever path is happening in front of you, you might see it, or you might just feel something is happening, something is bubbling, something is trying to come to the surface, but you're not quite sure what it is yet. It's okay. You don't have to know. It'll be revealed to you. And I have a Sagittarius too, don't I? Oh boy. Okay. So I guess that's, well, yeah, it is true for me because I'm constantly in this state. It's like something is happening, but I don't know what it is, but it's like, okay, I'm just going to trust it. I'm just going to trust it. So not easy, not saying it's easy. I'm not trying to make a flippant remark, but takes a lot of work to get to a space where you can finally start trusting more. Yeah. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius.
Capricorn, let's first talk about how this eclipse is going to hit you. So it might feel like a tectonic shift in your beliefs.
Oh, wow.
Or your educational path. So it might show up in travel changes, visas, international connections, ending or starting of big studies, teachings, or spiritual paths, a crisis of faith that leads to a deeper inner truth. What's leaving and what's arriving for you at the time of this eclipse? What's leaving? Borrowed beliefs that no longer fit. What's arriving? A more personal, embodied philosophy of life. So how's this Aries pile up going to impact you, Capricorn? Aries inflames your home and your root. So moves, renovations, family confrontations, or new beginnings at home. Emotional fires. So there might be some anger about your family patterns or a desire to create your own family base. Use this energy to make brave decisions about where and how you live. Set bolder boundaries with your family, so build a home that reflects you. A mantra for you, Capricorn, in March: I am brave enough to build my own foundation.
Cool.
What did you get for Cappies?
Okay, I'm going to show you the card. It's actually quite beautiful. I laughed because it says shift, and it was shortly after you said that. So this is a time of a renewal for you Capricorns, but I actually wrote it's a spiritual shift. So when I kind of tuned in to ask for a little bit more information, what I felt was transpiring for you is that your belief systems are going to flip on its head. So if you're someone who is very tied or attached to dogmatic belief systems, you're going to go through a process where that's going to flip on its head. And it's going to jar you a little bit because we depend on systems. We just do, right? And then when we let go of systems, or when the systems collapse and we don't have another system to rely on, we feel a little bit wobbly. So you might, and I'm getting chills, so you might feel wobbly for a little while because you will feel like you don't know where you stand. This is what happens more often than not. When people go through a lot of releasing and coming home to themselves, and they experience shadow, all these things that nobody talks about, when they get to a space where they don't know where they stand, they often go and grab to religious belief. because now that's the structure they can hang on to. Someone can tell them what's happening. Someone can tell them what to do. You, Capricorn, seem to be moving away from that. So if you find yourself in a space where you're like, my entire belief system just went to shit. I've experienced this. Know that this dismantling is necessary. So if you're going to experience this kind of dismantling, there is a reason. Thank you. And okay. So if this resonates with you, if you go through this level of dismantling, and it may not be for everybody, it's because you are here as a reformer. That's an interesting choice of words. So if that's your function in this lifetime, it only makes sense that you have to go through your own reforming, right? And I suspect for those people who this resonates with, if you feel like you are a reformer, like you are here to reframe and reform, it's because your guidance is needed for those who will have similar experience a little bit later. So you're going through your own experience in order to realize more of your potential so that you can help people make sense out of what the hell is going on when their belief systems turn on its head. Okay? Also, follow your inner voice, pretty straightforward, not someone else's spiritual structure. So this is interesting. And then I felt you feeling less fragmented and less disintegrated. So what this was showing me is that as you go through this inner evolution, it might feel like you actually are falling apart, but what's falling apart is I want to say the word lies, okay? Not implying that you were lied to, but this is, I don't need to go any further, yes? So at the end of this experience, you will feel less fragmented and less disintegrated, which means you will finally know what it means to feel at home. And I've expressed to people what it feels like to feel at home. When I do this work, I feel at home. It's a feeling I want to be in 24/7. I'm not there 24/7. I'm not. It's just not convenient. But it is something that cannot be put into words. So whoever you are, Capricorn, you've got a big job ahead of you. So there you go.
Aquarius. First, let's talk about how this eclipse is hitting you. It might feel like the underbelly of intimacy, trust, and shared resources gets eclipsed. So it might show up in shifts in your shared finances, debts, taxes, inheritances. Your sexual and emotional intimacy crisis might happen, or there might be a breakthrough in your sexual and emotional intimacy. Old trauma or power dynamics are being exposed in order for you to heal. So what's leaving, what's arriving at the time of this eclipse? What's leaving? Staying in surface level exchanges in order to feel safe. What's arriving? Deeper vulnerability, cleaner shared resources and agreements. So let's talk about this Aries pileup that's also happening in March. How's this going to affect you? Aries lights up your mind, communication, and your local world, like your communities. Fast ideas, quick decisions, fiery conversations, calls to teach, speak, podcast, write, or be more visibly vocal. So use this energy to start the podcast, to start the writing project, the workshop series. Okay, have a hard conversation that you've been avoiding. How about that? Here's your mantra, Aquarius, for March. I am brave enough to say what I really think. Take it away, Joanna. What do you see for Aquarius?
It's interesting it's interesting because this morning I thought to myself, I'd like to do something different with the zodiacs. Like, maybe just give me a specific area. So I thought, why don't you just show me, what a person is needing to work on or what's being amplified. And what I'm seeing is that's exactly what the universe is showing me. And it just dawned on me. So anyway, Aquarius, you are not only at the end of a cycle, you are at the finish line. You're at the finish line. And this finish line symbolizes a brand new era for you. And this era is marked by the idea of you feeling so much better about yourself. And as a result, how you show up in the world. So there is obviously some healing you guys have to have done in order for me to be shown this and for this to be your experience going forward. Because it doesn't just land out of the sky as a grace. That's not how it happened. Well, maybe, but that's not usually the way it goes. Sacral chakra was very strong here. And you talked about vulnerability. So the sacral chakra also connects to vulnerability, sexuality. And actually, this is the beautiful message. Again, we had this card again before, clarity. But what came to me, I actually asked her to tell me, what do you want me to know? And she said, I don't want you to see me. So some of you are afraid to be seen. So I said, why don't you want me to see you? And what came to me is because I feel undeserving. So I said, why? And then I got the word mom. Okay. So I'm not saying that everybody's mom made them feel undeserving. It could be that your mom felt very undeserving and she beautifully, energetically passed it on to you. So if this resonates with you, do yourself a favor. Allow yourself to be honest that this is still a part of you. Don't deny it. Don't criticize it. Don't poo-poo it. Don't judge it. Just acknowledge, yeah, I think there's a part of me that feels like it's undeserving. And think of this undeserving aspect of you as a little child that all it wants from you is love. And just love that part of you. If you had a 3-year-old who came to you crying and said, Mom, I don't feel loved, would you say, well, damn right, I don't love you? That's not what you would do. You just grab it or hug it and say, oh my God, I love you. You try to squeeze the living daylight out of this child because you'd want them not to just hear it. You'd want them to feel it. Aquarius, if there was ever any job for you to do, this is it. This is it. We can call it inner child healing. You can give it whatever label you want. But at the end of the day, this is about you learning what it means to love you. You don't just love the good parts and discard the not so good. You love all of you, even the ones you want to get rid of. And then something remarkable happens. Your relationship with you fundamentally changes. And rather than being separated and disintegrated, you bring yourself back home. So yeah, you may have a part of you that feels undeserving, but there's a part of you that knows that's a lie. By the way, you're undeserving of what? Like what? What are you undeserving of? Love? Well, sorry to tell you, but you're being loved right now. You just don't feel it because perhaps you don't allow yourself. Because again, you don't feel you deserve it. You see where I'm going with this? This is simple in theory, but it's massive in terms of inner work. Massive. Notice all of these are pretty massive. Now we're entering this new energy, so it only makes sense that all these things now have to come up to the surface and be healed because we're moving on from that. We're moving on. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. And I'm going to say it not because you need luck, but I'm going to say it, best of luck with this because, once you allow yourself to move through the process, I promise you, as I sit here, your life will never be the same. Because I had to do it. And I still do it. But I understand and I know what the experience is like once you go through it. So just saying. There you go.
And last but not least, Pisces. We're going to talk about the eclipse, and this is on the Pisces Virgo axis. So the full moon is in Virgo. The sun is in your sign. So the eclipse is hitting you, and the North Node is in your sign. So it's a lot for you, Pisces. I know it's been a lot for quite a while. Joanna's a North Node Pisces person. She's feeling those. She knows. So let's talk about how this eclipse is hitting for you, Pisces, okay? It might feel like the mirror of me versus you is getting a total reset. So it might show up in major endings or major beginnings in relationships. Yes, romance. Yes, business. Yes, close friends. Yes, all of them. People entering or exiting your life in fated ways. Fate, like destiny. Seeing clearly how you overgive, merge, or disappear in relationships. What's leaving, what's arriving for you, Pisces, at the time of this eclipse? Leaving relationships based on saving, fixing, or being saved. Arriving partnerships based on mutual respect and clarity. And how is this Aries pile up going to impact you, Pisces? So Aries powers up your money and your self-worth. Joanna, you've already got that download. It's going to be an urge to earn more money, to charge more, or to change how you make money. Confrontations with your own value and what you tolerate. Use this energy to set bold prices, ask for raises, change your income model. Take practical actions that affirm, I am worth it. Pisces, your mantra for March, I am brave enough to act like I matter.
Hang on.
Snoring.
I'm laughing here because this is a message also for me, and I totally get it. So, first of all, if you're Pisces, you're making it so much more difficult than it has to be.
Okay.
We all do it. We all do
That
it.
just came through.
Right?
Incorrect.
Okay, so you might feel a little bit bumpy. I was seeing a bumpy road. And then right away what came was, no, it's not bumpy because it's bad. It's bumpy because it's so fast and it's unfamiliar. And I'm like, okay. So something is moving pretty fast and it's an unfamiliar territory and you're not quite sure how to navigate it yet, but it doesn't mean it's bad. It's exciting, but it's also a bit scary because it's new to you. So I'm like, I wonder what it's going to be for me. And I hear the word courage again. Whatever it is that you are moving through and towards, listen, any change requires courage. Anything we start here requires courage, right? So courage is not something that's new to anybody. But this one, if this resonates with you at some point down the line, this one requires you to have courage. Here's why. It may feel like you have been on this path alone for a very long time, but what you're not realizing is the reason why you needed to go through this path that felt very alone is because there is a massive amount of people, audience, whatever it may be for you, that are waiting for you to bring this wisdom through. People out there that I'm seeing, they're waiting for this wisdom to come through. And this wisdom is knowledge experience. You don't read a book and you are wise. Wisdom is knowledge experience. So you are going through some sort of an experience, and it has to do again with reforming. So whoever that was again, the other side. And it's essentially what it means is you had to go through this experience. And for a lot of you, it was and still continued to be an arduous experience because many people either can't relate to you or they don't understand you, which means oftentimes you feel like you're alone even though you're surrounded by a whole bunch of people. Okay, so if that's you, there's a reason why your path needed to be this way, because whatever people are out there, whether it's through social media, whatever, in person, I don't know. There are people out there waiting for you because you have, quote unquote, a message to deliver. But it's not a message verbally. I mean, yes, it's verbally, but more than verbally, it's energetic. I've seen this short meme posted on Instagram, and basically what it was is that one highly coherent person can shift the energy of the entire room. That's what I'm talking about. So whoever you are, however that transpires, just kind of let that sit on the shelf and see let it percolate. Thank you. I also saw you working with new energy. For some of you, this might be new guides. For some of you, this might be new consciousness, some other beings. For me personally, I don't necessarily work with guides and angels. I mean, they're in the periphery, but I work with source directly. Energy just feels frequency. For me personally, I feel it's another level of frequency. Remember, we can only work with whatever our body is able to handle, right? So whoever you are, if you're Pisces, you're going to be working, or you're starting to work with new energy. Don't be so self-critical. I'll take that. If you're someone who's highly self-critical, maybe be just 25% less critical. I'm not asking you to completely let it go. I mean, have your fun, but just go, maybe I'll be a little bit more loving towards myself today, a little bit less critical. What is it? Okay, so the idea of undeserving came up again. I don't know if it came up with another sign. And what I got was this. Whatever you believe in, the universe says yes. If you believe that you are undeserving, the universe says yes. If you believe that you're deserving, the universe says yes. In other words, the universe says yes to everything that you believe. I'm not going to have a lot of money. Yes. You see what I'm saying? That's really important for everyone to know, but particularly because you're Pisces, because that happens on an energetic level. The universe doesn't care what you think, or well, it does, because it's not that it doesn't care. The universe responds to your frequency. So if your frequency says, I don't deserve, the universe, okay, I'm going to supply you with whatever makes you feel undeserving, because that's what you believe. Law of attraction, right? So, but if some of you are dealing with the idea of undeserving, I know I have been. It's still a work in progress. This is something that you might want to look at, or it's something that might come up. So for me, remember I was saying at the very beginning, there was a whole bunch of money thrown in front of me and my body contracted because there was a part of me that thought, can I get that? So also, and the last message was, you make it so much more difficult than it is. That's a human thing. That we're masters at making our life more difficult than it is. It just is. So does that make sense?
Yeah, for the relationship part too, because the money thing, the field was really speaking on the money.
Yeah.
But the relationships are being activated for Pisces too. And it's going to be hard. Pisces doesn't like making big, bold decisions like at all. So with all of this Aries energy, Aries can do the big, bold decision. Aries can do the damn thing. Aries can make up their mind. And so I think that Pisces, there's going to be some Pisces out there, not all of you, some Pisces out there are going to be shocked with this energy coming through with all the Aries. And who knows, maybe it will finally give you the courage to say, actually, this is no longer working for me.
Yeah, beautiful. And before I forget, I do want to show you the card. The same 5 cards kept coming up today, which is very interesting, highly unusual. It's a renewal. And again, renewal. And I can vouch for that as a North Node Pisces, and Jenny can tell you what that's about. Like every day I can just feel things, and that's why I'm going like this. Happy and then very energized, tired. It's been, can't sleep for the life of me. And then I really want to eat, but I'm not hungry. It's kind of all over the place, but I'm learning how to navigate. And most importantly, thank you for saying that. Most importantly, I'm learning not to go, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I've stopped saying what's wrong with me. In fact, I know someone very close to me who always says, what's wrong with me? They're always sick. And nothing really can be found wrong with the person, but they're always unwell. The universe says yes. But, okay, guys. That's all I have.
Really big, bold messages for all 12 zodiac signs. Themes of new beginning, reset energy for everybody. I'm noticing. And the courage to do the damn thing, make the damn decision, do the damn thing. That's what Aries is really ushering in. And with Saturn coming in the picture, it's going to build it. Saturn builds things. You know, if you follow the rules, whatever the rules are in terms of the decision you're going to make, if you do the damn thing and if you stay steady at it, Saturn's going to help you build it. Okay. I'm noticing that theme for all 12 signs.
Yeah.
And good. It was pretty powerful for everybody. It was just like, okay, here it is.
Yeah. The energy felt very very substantial. And what I want to say last also is if you feel like you're in a threshold, if you feel like there's something happen, like if you feel like you're in between, take a look at the recalibration, because that's literally what it's designed for, to help a person move to their next octave. And a person is going to read it and they're going to go, not for me, or someone is going to say, oh my God, that's for me. That's how it goes, because it resonates with your frequency. Your soul already knows whether it's for you or not. So, but if you're interested and if you find yourself in that space, take a look and see if that resonates with you, and then we can go from there. All right. I think that's all we have.
Everyone.
Happy March. We look forward to seeing you. Let us know in the comments how this resonates with you. Did you have any aha moments? Did something give you something to think about? And for me personally, I know some of the things make absolutely no sense. And then I listen to it a month later or a few weeks later. It's like, did I say that? So, you know, if it doesn't make sense to you right now, don't buy it. Don't take it. It's just put it on the shelf and just see what happens. Yeah. Until next time, we look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Bye-bye.